getting him in the suit? Because there have been a lot of rumors that he won't do it.
No, he won't. He's very smart. Because he knows what happens to any actor that puts that suit on. They don't get it.
He wants to end the series.
You know what I told him he should do? I thought that it would be better if the last shot was him putting on the Clark Kent costume. And this was back when his dad was still in the show.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that it would be just wonderful if the dad's going, "No, Clark, man, you got to walk like you've got no balls. You got to never had a woman in your life. And you got to squint when you put the glasses on. You got to look like you need them." And they would be rehearsing this character of just uncooling him and really burying everything. And then the last shot is him, you know, taking that character on and, "Bye, Mom," and walking to the big city like a nerd.
Glasses up 2 weeks ago.
They did?
He told Lois that he's nearsighted.
Right on. No, I think it's that Tom's really smart about that, and I think it's one of the reasons the series has lasted as long as it has. Okay, please. Yeah.
So, as you're such a big Star Wars fan, in the Star Wars remake, which character would you want to play?
Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, Lando. I met Billy D. Williams once, and he was in the back of the car. We were being driven to an event like this, and he was telling me that Buffy was stupid because no woman could fight like that. And I turned around and I was like, "Billy, let me tell you something. I've been fighting with black belt women for 5 years, and I'm here to tell you, pound for pound, women can kick as much ass as men. If you meet any woman and she wants to dust up with you, you got to ask yourself, would I fight a man that size? And if you take him, then go ahead and fight her. But if you wouldn't go there with that weight, then don't go there. Women can kick ass. And if they're trained, you have no hope." Oh, what was that? The one, the Slayer that the Asian Slayer that I killed. She was awesome, man. I mean, like, so fluid, and her sword work was just perfect. She trained with in Bruce Lee's dojo. She was like the leading person there. Oh my God, and really nice person, thank God. But really, I mean, I find that the most peaceful people in the world are black belts because they have nothing to prove. You know, you never hang out with a more goofy group of people than if you're hanging out with black belts. They're just little kids. You know.
Yeah, great pot.
Oh, he's the best. Ray is the best. He doesn't even realize. Like when other stuntmen hear the name Ray Parks, everyone goes. Yeah, he is the bomb twice over. What's up, Ray?
I was just wondering, I mean, you've done so much, and obviously one can't predict the future, but if you can direct your own life, where do you see yourself going from where you are now, say 10 or 20 years from now?
I had a really good time producing. When I had a theater company, I don't want to, well, okay, I'll brag. I had $7,000 to produce my shows, and I had to do a new one every 4 weeks. And once a year, at least once a year, one of the major critics would include in the review of my show that my stuff was just as professionally acted, just as entertaining as the Seattle Rep, who had a $250,000 show. We talked Dr. Seuss's widow into releasing the rights because there was a cartoon made of one of the Seuss stories back in the 70s that totally changed the script, and they decided that they were never going to let anybody touch Seuss again. And we spent like a year and a half sending her reviews and letters and stuff, and we convinced her to release the rights. And so I really enjoy producing. The problem is you can't make a movie for $7,000. You know, a lot of producing is scratching money together. And I'm kind of waiting for the digital revolution to finish itself, because I really do think that digital is going to do for movie making what it did for music, which is to put it in. Because now we have Pro Tools on so many computers for music that as long as you have a decent microphone and you have that program, you can cut an album in your basement. And so you're giving power to the garage bands, which is what I listen to. And I think the same might be true with film, that it's going to get cheap because it costs so much money. Was it?
Paranormal Activity is a perfect example.
Exactly.
Dr. Horrible.
So I would very much like to produce. I would like my first movie would be a treatment of Macbeth. I think that has never been done correctly. I did 2 productions of it on stage. I did one playing smaller roles, watching the guy play Macbeth and make every mistake he could possibly make in the role, to the point where the audience laughed at it. And I was just taking mental notes. Okay, avoid that, that's wrong, avoid that. And then I did it for a smaller company in Seattle, and I played Macbeth, and right out from the first rehearsal, I started arguing with the director and Lady Macbeth, because they were all tied into trying to make, like, why is this marriage on the skids? I'm like, look, the marriage is not on the skids. They're hot for each other in the first scene. They're a perfect couple. They're a golden couple who gain the throne but lose their love. That's why it's tragic. And so we have to, and there's so many things like that. Like, Lady Macbeth is not a man-eating bitch. She's not. She is actually a very naive, young character who gets in way over her head. And they're in the scene where Lady M, like Macbeth is like, I don't think we should do this. It's not such a good idea. She's like, what are you, a man or what? And everyone says that she's castrating him. But the thing is, I used to do some crimes long time ago. And like, I think of that scene as like Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, and they're out jacking a car at night, right? And suddenly De Niro goes, I'm feeling kind of bad about this. I don't think we should do this. And Pesci goes, what the man? What are you? Are you a man or a mouse? What you didn't tell me this when we were back in the apartment. That's all she's doing. It's just two criminals fighting over whether they're going to do the crime or not. And most importantly, in the script, if you examine it, every time she tries that, he says, shut up. You're not a man. You don't know. It doesn't work on him. It's only when she says, this is how we'll get away with it. We'll blame the guards. Then he's like, oh my baby, I love you. Yeah. So see, he's not emasculated at all. So there's a lot of things. And we got standing ovations about 80% of the performances. And I really feel like I know what that script needs to make it fly. And like, you got to make the witches real witches. A lot of times, these modern productions, they don't give the witches their magic, which is a big mistake. Stuff like that. Yeah. It's also a very short script, so you wouldn't have to cut it. Yeah.
Did you see Throne of Blood? I'm just curious.
Kurosawa. Yeah.
What was your thoughts on that?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I didn't agree with the Lady M, but
Right.
Yeah.
But just your own.
Yeah, I mean, really, really good. But the problem is okay, the climax of the play. Get my tie on. The climax of the play is this moment where Macbeth is sitting there, and his castle is being attacked, and he hears this woman scream, and he sends his minion out to find out who's screaming in the castle. And while we're waiting to find out what that news is, he turns to the audience and says, you know what? I'm dead. Things that used to frighten me and make the hairs stand up on the back of my neck, they just don't do anything for me. I don't feel anything anymore. Minion comes back. What was that noise? The Queen, my lord, is dead. And there's this huge pause in the verse. And the audience is now thinking, now he'll care about that, because we've seen them in the first act. They love each other so much. Now he's going to feel something. And he just goes, she should have died tomorrow or yesterday. I would have had time to deal with it. I thought, I don't feel anything. And that's when the audience realizes that Macbeth is not our guy. And that's when we meet, in the next scene, we go to England and we meet our hero, Macduff. So for that to work, the pause has to work, where everyone's on the edge of their seat going, now they'll feel something, right? And for that to work, when Lady Macbeth says the out damn spot speech, they have to cry. And in order to get them to cry for out damn spot, she can't be a castrating bitch in the first act, because if she's a castrating bitch in the first act, then she comes out for out damn spot, and everyone's like, oh, die, bitch, die. Yeah. So I thought that some things were right about that, but that it was ruined because they took that slant on Lady M, and it's just so misogynistic, and it's just not in the script. I remember arguing with Peter Hall, who invented the RSC, and he came to LA to direct a couple of Shakespeare's for the taper, and I went into audition, and he casually mentioned Lady M, the castrated bitch, and I just went off. I'm thinking, I'm not going to get this job. But, I'll tell everyone from my life that I told Peter Hall what Macbeth was really about, and he was looking at me like, you upstart American, how dare you? But I was right.